Welcome to Tales from the Tackle Shop. This is episode 4, and you find myself and Alex sitting in my kitchen being a little bit subdued.
Subdued, yeah.
Yes, a bit subdued. Not down, not out, just a bit subdued. We're just having a chat about what we've been doing during the week, and yeah, things are a bit strange. So, I suppose let's kick off with that then, really, Alex. So, from last weekend, you had the Benwick practice match.
Yep.
Did you go out again this week and have a go?
Yeah, we went for a bit of a team line-up in the week, and I don't know, it just seems a Wednesday is totally different from a Sunday. I don't know, we fish at the match times, we all start at the same time, and we're, up and down, setting up, and I don't know, it just seems to be millions of fish in the week when we go and practice, and when it comes to the weekends, it's not totally different, but a little bit different. And I had one of them days where, went there to try and sort some roach out, and basically just got plagued with bream.
Plagued with bream?
Yeah.
It's a hard life.
It is, yeah. I mean, it never would happen in a match, would it? Like a Winter League final or something like that, where there's just bream on every line, and I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. Especially at Benwick. I mean, it's not a venue you sort of associate with bream. If it was Bypass at March or 20th or something like that, then maybe. But it was good fun, but not what we went there for, really.
What, 2-3 pound stump fish?
No, big fish. Big old warriors. Some of them were mint, and a few of them, had been hit by boats or been attacked by something or other. And it was just one of them. I think that long rod fish I just carried on catching. Sort of caught a few roach start off with it. It went a bit weird, so I thought I'll have a look on my worm line, and dropped in, and it went under, had a tench, £3. I thought, that's alright. Get the elastic stretched out. Because not very often you catch them in matches. It's, they're a proper bonus. Most of the time you're fishing for roach and that, so you don't really give it too much time if you can help it. It's just a quick 5-minute look, and if there's nothing there, move back on. A lot of the time you go on it just to rest your roach lines anyway, but went in again and had a £4 bream, next chuck, maybe £5. And I thought, that'll do, don't see many of these. I mean, the area where we practiced, there's always been a few around there, but not numbers like we caught. Went in again, no bite, so I topped it up, went roach fishing. It was still a bit iffy. Went back on it, and it was basically just a fish a chuck then for the rest of the day. Just standard bream fishing, catch a couple, and then top it up, catch a couple. And where I fed all my ground bait and that, it was just fizzing like mad. There was bubbles coming up, there was twigs, there was all sorts. They were proper hungry fish. They were rooting. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And when you hooked one, you could see other fish moving about in your peg where it sort of spooked, because it's real shallow, Ben. It's probably about 3.5 foot deep.
Yeah.
So for some reason or another, they were there and they were hungry.
Did anyone else catch any?
Yeah, Steve Harvard next to me caught 3. Gav caught 1 as well. So there obviously was a shoal along there that was feeding on that particular day anyway.
And they didn't show on Sunday?
There was 1 bream caught in that section. That was the only bream caught in the whole match. And that was off E1, peg E1, and I sat on E7, so quite a distance away. So it just goes to show they probably are there, just not feeding. You just don't know, do you?
And the pressure of the car, would it be the cars, the anglers?
No, well, there's no cars, because normally you'd say the fish are there because you walk them down.
Yeah.
So you walk in from each end, so you walk the fish to the middle of the length, and they're, I don't know really, they were just there in numbers. So
crazy, isn't it?
One thing for sure, there was a lot more bigger fish in Benwick this year than there has been for a long while. Lots of tench, 2-3 pound tench, and not so many rudd this year.
Is that because you're fishing it earlier?
It might be, might well be. I don't know, I just don't get the feeling the fish have migrated in there as just yet. It's not as I don't know. You say that, but every year's different, isn't it?
It is,
Fish move and stuff, but it definitely didn't feel like it has done fishing it.
Mm.
It hasn't. The fish have been a bit more spread out in areas, and the fact that there's only one boat now at Little London might, spread the fish out a little bit more. Normally there's about 6 there and there's one boat, so you can imagine the fish just all underneath the boat. Same old Benwick really. It doesn't change that much. It's still a bit bleak, to look at. Typical Fenland drain, full of weed and full of fish. So, yeah.
Well, some are full of fish and some are not.
Well,
we'll come on to that later. That's interesting. So really, you didn't glean much to take into Sunday?
Not really.
No.
It didn't. To be honest, I wasn't. It's bad to say really, but I was sort of getting a bit fed up because I didn't go there to catch bream.
Yeah.
And the other lads caught some. They caught and learnt quite a bit and that. And it was just one of them days really.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there we go. But you're right. I've been doing a lot of fishing during the week, and it is so much better. Well, it was last season. I found it so much better because there wasn't a soul about.
No.
But this year has been really busy because people are furloughed.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't been the same advantage. In fact, it's been a disadvantage. But I think now people are going back to work. Most of the furlough schemes, I think, are finishing, aren't they? Or I don't know. But fishing. When you're a weekend warrior, you don't realise how difficult it is. For some reason, everything gets pressured far more. Yeah. It's crazy, and it is so different during the week.
Mm. I mean, it was when we went down. There was quite a few other anglers down there practicing, and non-anglers associated with teams in that fishing. So it is good to see more people on the bank. Obviously, some of them would always have gone anyway before, obviously COVID and that. But there is a lot of anglers that have probably used to fish that have come back into fishing, and obviously totally new beginner anglers. But it's good. It is good.
Yeah, there's definitely there seems to be a lot more people about, and as long as they don't get in my way in the depths of winter when we get really serious.
Yeah,
we should have to throw them in. Right. So that was that. Have you done anything else a bit different this week, or had any other goes out? Or you been busy at the shop?
The shop's been fairly busy. Plenty of bait, obviously, for the Winter League, and there's new bits coming in daily now. All the new 2021 catalogues have been arriving, and it's a bit weird. Like normally this time of year is trade show season, and you'd be going here, there, everywhere, travelling the country to go and look at new gear and seeing it all in the flesh. And this year it's I did the Preston one, and that was a Zoom meeting. They basically did it nicely. They had their showroom all laid out nicely, and just went round and had a guided tour with Will Freeman and Lee Kerry, and explaining all the new products and bits and bobs, which was good. Not quite the same of actually going there and picking a rod up and putting a bend in it and twiddling a float in your hand and looking at the zips on luggage and all little things like that. So that's been a bit strange. But on the other hand, it means I've more time in the shop, which is a bonus. There's always something to be doing, and it is slowing down now, which is nice. I can get a couple of days off now, Wednesday and a Sunday off, and get a bit of fishing in. But shop-wise, it's been, it's just finding space now with me in the shop. There's so much new gear coming out. DAIWA got a load of new seat boxes and accessories. There's obviously Preston, they've got loads of new gear coming out. All sorts, poles, new top kits. There's tons and tons of gear, and just keeping on top of everything really. So
you're going to get more gear in that shop?
I'm going to have to, yeah.
Wow, you're going to need a bigger shop.
Yeah, definitely, mate, yeah.
Oh dear, do I need to get you a test?
Yeah.
Don't come near me.
Brain dead test.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. It must be weird. You can't do these things online because, like you said, you need to feel the quality.
Yeah, well, you're sort of guessing and working out. I mean, the thing is, a lot of this new gear is brilliant, but people are asking for it. You know, well, when's this coming in? A lot of it ain't going to be till end of November, start of December, because of obviously the way it's not just the tackle trade. Everything's the same. When we went into lockdown, a lot of companies would be doing their orders now. Obviously, the uncertainty of everything, and you know, you'd have to be a very wise person to predict that there was going to be a world pandemic, and that fishing, when everyone was allowed out, was going to actually go through the roof. And I don't think there's anyone could hand on heart say that they knew that it was going to happen.
No.
So it's been a shock for for everyone in the tackle trade, and it's been brilliant, really has. So
yeah, if someone had said there's going to be a worldwide pandemic, I would have thought this is going to be a disaster for the tackle trade, but it's actually been the reverse.
Yeah.
So
there's
interesting.
It's like everything. There's a lot of negative about it, but there's been a lot of positive as well for a few sort of businesses and such. I mean, you know, holiday lodges in the UK and things like that. You know, they've never ever been so busy. Look at the Norfolk Broads. It's mental. You could not get a boat for love nor money on the Norfolk Broads. So, you know, maybe a few people will realise actually how nice a country we've got here if you just travel a little bit and get in the countryside. So,
well, they have been camping out on the banks when they shouldn't have been, and crapping everywhere, and it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the type of holiday people.
You know, I mean,
holidaying you meant.
This isn't going to go anywhere soon, is it?
No.
So, you know, we need to be, or people need to be, the powers that be need to be planning, you know, videos, and the social media side of things now, or what you can do with videos and stuff. Surely someone can educate newcomers a bit easier, and just, I don't know, explained a bit better would be good, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah, I think I think this has opened up a whole market for doing things differently.
Yeah.
And it's a bit. I think it's going to have a negative effect, not a massively negative effect, but a bit of a negative effect. I find a lot of fairly new anglers are a bit YouTube-ish.
Yeah.
You ask, they tell you about something, and you say, "Have you done it?" No, but I've seen it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of go, "Well, how do you know how to do it?" So I think too much instructional stuff can be a bit of a disadvantage, because people they become instant experts, don't they? And they don't actually.
Yeah.
However, as a tutorial aid, it is fantastic. So I think you've got to take it in sort of. It's good to get the info and then go away and practice it and try it out and see if it works for you. But yeah, there are a few people out there who just build up in their heads, never have it on. They have a library of this stuff and become these instant experts, which is not that great. Right. So anything else, the tackle shop wise, that you want to mention at the minute? Do you want to give out the phone number in case anybody wants to contact you to ask for advice or order anything?
Can do, yeah.
Sales
pitch, isn't it? There.
Well, might as well.
Well, yeah. If you know, I think a lot of people know where to look for the number if they can't find me.
There may be one extra person out there who doesn't know about.
Well,
there might be one strange soul who's never heard of Tackle and Bates.
Oh, there'll be a few, but I get a lot of people ringing me up saying, "Oh, hello, mate. I've ordered so and so. I wondered when I'm going to receive it." And I'm thinking, I don't even sell that gear. And then it's like, have you ordered something from Fishing Tackle and Bait? Yeah. So, well, this is Tackle and Baits, and it's like, oh, sorry. And I get that quite a lot. I don't know why.
Well, I was at the hairdressers a couple of weeks ago.
Right. You was at the hairdressers?
Yeah. Well, the barbers, but
yeah, getting your beard trimmed.
Getting my head polished and my beard trimmed, and then because it's appointment only.
Right.
It's brilliant. So I just rock up, straight in, done. 2 minutes out, you know.
Yeah.
Short back and polish and done.
Yeah.
Anyway, this mum turned up with a little boy.
Yeah.
I said she booked him at 10:30. And this was the barbers on Wisbeach, and they were looking through their phones thinking, she hasn't booked him in at all. think she booked him into the Tesco's Barbers.
Right.
And just turned up at this other Barbers in Wisbech, which is Christ, I can't think. Banks. Don't know why I had a brainstorm then.
Right.
Brilliant. Banks is brilliant. If anybody wants a really good haircut, in and
Right.
around Wisbech, Banks Barbers, absolutely brilliant. But this woman was adamant that she booked with them. No, she hadn't. She just looked online, got completely the wrong barbers, turned up there and actually made a little bit of a scene.
Really?
Yeah. And then didn't apologise, and he was like, yeah, that's weird. So a bit like, yeah, she just presumed because it was a barber's, she got the one barber shop in Wisbech. But there we go. A bit like your tackle and baits and whatever, fishing, tackle and baits. Right, come on, give out the phone number.
Right. So 07824 878 492.
And if anybody's got any queries about anything bait, tackle related, give you a bell.
Yeah. Yeah. No silly questions, you know. But yeah, anything for the Fenland.
What do you
side
mean
of
silly
things.
questions?
Well, this is the general public we're talking about here. Yeah. So I don't know. If you want some information on local venues that are fishing, I think people know now really that if we can help them out, we will do.
Yeah.
And with proper tackle shops, what tackle shops there for? At the end of the day, go to your local tackle shop and they'll look after you as best they can.
Yeah. How are the lakes fishing at the minute?
Really well, actually. Really well. It's been a funny year for the fish. They've had a massive holiday and then they've had an absolute hammering. So they've been living the dream for like us for a few months, and then all of a sudden it's like hell on earth. Jesus, where are all these? I'm getting bait chucked at me. I'm getting boilies. Everything, all the rules that are there have all been broken. They're like, oh look at this, look.
Bread on the top.
Oh mate, yeah, it's been tiring. Yeah, I'm not moaning, but
Well, I'd imagine before COVID, you had mainly the same people coming.
yeah,
who knew the
you have
sport.
your regular customers.
It makes it easy to
the same
police.
match anglers.
Yeah.
They all know the rules. And then all of a sudden it's like every bloke's just gone in his granddad's shed and took an old rod out of the cupboard that's had line on it for 20 years and then gone on Amazon and ordered some hair rigs for carp fishing because that's the nearest thing in the Google search, and they've got braided hooks size 6 that they don't know the difference between a size 10 and a 6, only that one you can catch a shark with and one's, sensible. And people coming back in the shop, oh, I need another method feeder. And you're like, right, okay, yeah, there's a method feeder. Then about an hour later, they come back and go, I think I need 2 more method feeders. My line's not strong enough. And you're like, how strong's your line? £10. £10 and it's not strong enough. Yeah, these fish are massive, they keep breaking me up. What lake you on? Raven. Right, okay, well the biggest fish in the lake's about £8. Show me how you tie your knots. Right, well, that's your problem. You're not tying a knot, you're just putting the line over it and just hoping that... Yeah. And then hook lengths, and, I enjoyed teaching people how to fish, but at the same time it takes time as well, and to do it properly and come across efficiently, you have a way of doing it. And in the end, I'm a bit of a pro at setting up a method feeder and showing people how to use a method feeder, and that has been a godsend. 10-foot method rod, tub of ready-made pellets, a bag of hook pellets, and then your method feeder and some hair rigs, and it's so simple. Youngsters 8 to 14-year-old, loving it. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But you can't you can see how to tie a knot on YouTube, like what you're saying earlier, and stuff like that, but actually putting into practice. And at the end of the day, it's about the fish safety as well, fish welfare. And
I suppose it comes back to as well. I've talked to 2 or 3 people who said the same thing to me really recently. New people into the sport aren't being shown how to do it by older people or people who are more experienced.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is the thing, isn't it, with social distancing as
well.
No,
but like parents not taking their children, or uncles not taking, or granddads and things.
Well, the thing is, you sort of missed a generation, haven't you?
Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah.
That's how we all learnt, because we got taken by our parents. Or when I learnt, Dad was learning at the same time, so we learnt together. And you get shown things by people. And
Yeah.
I think most anglers are kinesthetic learners. They like doing things.
Yeah.
So it's okay watching a bit of YouTube, but you want to go out and try it, don't you? And you need someone to show you.
The other thing is anglers that I mean, as a fishery, we're not a specimen fishery at all. You know, there's some nice fish in Rook. If you just read the rules, if you're an angler, you'll know it's not a specimen fishery. The way we don't allow braid, we don't allow leg core, boilies for hook bait only, because it is a commercial fishery. It's not a specimen fishery, and I don't know, just people, just because they can get out and everywhere was full. Some of the anglers that are coming, you'd think they were fishing bluebell.
Yes,
and there's fish to £30 in Rook Lake, but you don't fish it like bluebell. It's hard to explain, and they're coming in upstairs in the shop. Mate, have you got any so and so bait? And you're like, no, we haven't got that, mate. How are you getting on? Well, I've only caught one. Oh, right, okay. What are you doing then? And it's like what they'd be doing at bluebell.
Yeah, they've watched Danny Fairbrass.
And don't get me wrong,
different fishing.
That side of angling has absolutely massively boomed, and you can see why it has boomed. But just you have to explain to them that lake isn't going to respond to those tactics. And you sort of you explain to them what they need to be doing, and say, for example, there'll be a pleasure angler fishing a straight lead, feeding 8mm pellets with a robin red 8mm on the hook, and he's catching probably every 10-15 minutes. Not big fish, but catching. And then every 6th or 7th fish is probably a 12-14 pounder. And they're like, oh, well, he's catching. And you explain to him why he's catching and how he's doing it and the hooks he's using and why it's working. And they just go, all right, then I'll just buy some, I'll try a different boilie. And you think, well, I've just explained to you.
You're explaining that they're activating the swim and getting the fish.
Yeah, these fish are trained to the noise of pellets.
Yeah.
These fish see boilies and run away from them.
Yeah, they are.
It's just, and then some people come up and they'll listen to you and they go, right, cheers, mate, I'll change that. And they come in at the end, thanks ever so much, mate. I caught 9 fish, biggest was £14, and they've had a brilliant day.
Yeah.
And you can't help some people, as long as they enjoy their day and they get out of it what they want in fishing, not a problem. But when you take the time out and explain to someone exactly what to do and they just totally ignore you, it's really frustrating some days.
And when you're busy in the shop and loads of people, I can see that. That's people, everyone's different. I remember when I used to take the kids, and more recently, I was amazed more and more pupils would turn up with bite alarms and bolt rigs.
Right.
And you're thinking, that's their standard go-to. Wherever they go.
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah, wherever they go to, that's their standard go-to.
They don't know.
Do you remember I took some kids to your place a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I set up a waggler rod.
To be fair, your kit was pretty poor as well.
And every pupil I took, I made them catch a fish on my waggler rod. So I go, look, patch of maggots, 10 or 12 maggots, and again, now I'll cast in, and I've clipped up, you can't cast into the bank. Yeah. Get ready. Oh, I got one. How did you do that, sir? And I was like, well, you got to feed them. You got to get them activated. If you're sitting there, like you said, with your big baits on your point,
it's the basics of fishing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Get them competing, and they're easier to catch. Yeah.
It's.
But hey ho, I think it's good though, because otherwise
it's brilliant. It is brilliant, and it's good for the future. But
some people, I've got a friend who just likes being there.
Yeah.
It's the only way he wants to fish. You just chuck these boilies out or big baits. If he gets one, he gets one. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But he likes actually just setting his... Everything's got to be perfect. And that's part of it for him. And
the other thing is the amount of times I've been round the lake collecting rods that fish have towed in and stuff like that. It probably happens once a month in the summer. But
get your fingers off there.
But
I can hear you doing this.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Stroking my mic stand.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
And
the fish is actually towed.
Yeah, I mean they're using bait runners, and I'll be sat there 2 hours without catching anything, and then next thing you know, you can see this rod being towed around the lake, and I just get a rod, chuck a lead over it, and just wind it back in. It's really quite difficult, but it's frustrating because it ruins a lot of other anglers' day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Some people are quick to chuck a lead over and go, yeah, mate, and think it's quite funny and get the rod back, and some people find it, well, quite miserable about it and ruin my day and stuff like that. But it is just one of them things.
Yeah. It must be very difficult running a tackle shop and doing the fishery at the same time, because you're on everyone's beck and call.
Yeah.
I know when I popped down a few weeks ago, I just used to just get some stuff and sort of quietly go, because you were so busy. You were being pulled left, right and centre.
Yeah. And
I thought, God, he's going to be knackered. I could see you were tired because you were running around trying to do everything. And working with the public is difficult, because you've got to keep positive about everything, and you've got to keep promoting everything. Yeah, it must be quite frustrating at times. But I think you do a really good job, and the fishery's been so busy.
Yeah. I mean, each year the fishery's getting better and better. Obviously, the lodges were meant to open in, I think, May time, and obviously no, it weren't May, it was before that, it was Easter, so April time, and they've been pretty much fully booked. So I think if it wasn't for COVID-19, I don't think they'd be fully booked like they are.
Yeah.
And they've been really popular. They're located perfectly on the side of the lake, they're comfortable, nice small lodges for small family or husband and wife to get away, and that's been really good. The fishing's been phenomenal. Magpie hasn't had as big a weights as it has done, but I think that's back to the weather and angling pressure. Jay's been probably the inform lake this year. It's when I first started there, and it's changed so much as a lake, really, and sort of if it's everyone's opinions on it has changed. It was a bit Marmite-ish. It was, it's a big lake. It's not got a lot of shelter around it, and it was small fish to start off with. And over the 4 years I've been there, it's changed massively. You can park behind your peg. The pegs are different. We've put a few more fish in there, not loads, just the right amount really. The fish have grown massively. I just can't believe how big they are in there now, and a lot of the pleasure anglers don't realise how big they actually are. They still think that it's full of tiny little carp and it's a match lake type of thing, but more and more pleasure anglers are getting on it now and realising that there's a lot of 8 to 10 pound fish in there now, and you only have to see that with the weights.
You used to have a lot of goldfish in there.
There's hardly any in there now. Unbelievable. Literally, you'll catch a few around March time when they're just getting ready for spawning, and normally this time of year now you'll catch a few, but they're not feeding.
Do you see them still? Because it's very coloured water, isn't it?
You don't really see them, no. I was saying to someone the other day, you'd need, say, 280 fish on Jay after, sort of, within the first 4 or 5 years of it opening, to catch 140, 160. Now, you probably need 35 fish for that. That's how much they've grown.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how the balance changes when the fish are small. Everything's feeding and hungry, and you need numbers of fish, and then nature sorts itself out after 8 or 10 years. The bigger ones are still there and survive, and the smaller ones just disappear. But there's a lot of little perch in there. Obviously, we sort of addressed that because there weren't no little carp and that coming through, and there's lots of self-bred fish now that are like 6 to 8 ounces, which are showing. And I don't know, really, just a little bit of fishery management and a bit of promotion and more anglers fishing it, and it's just phenomenal, really. I mean, the lake record's been broke twice.
Wow.
this
So
year.
what does it stand at now?
On that lake, it's about I'm going to say 267, something like that. Which, obviously, in this day and age, isn't a colossal weight, but for years it was like 160, 170, and this year £200 has it's been. Well, I think one match in the festival there was like probably 7 weights over £200.
And these fish are getting bigger.
They are getting bigger. They're getting wiser as well. Don't get me wrong. They're harder to catch. It's a bit different to your standard snake lakes, because a lot of snake lakes up and down the country are generally filled with F1s, and there's a lot of that sort of fishing going on. And Raven's got a few F1s in, whereas Jay is more carp. So you the first couple of hours you're not catching a lot. You're just nicking an odd fish here and there. And when it's hot, dobbing's probably the best way of putting a few fish together early. And then these fish, when they feed properly. And it's hard to explain. There's a chap come in the shop today and he said, "Oh yeah, cool. Them open lads buy some bait, don't they, when they fish?" And they're like, they buy 6-8 pints of maggots. And that's what they want. And I was explaining to him, it's if you've got the right bait but in the wrong location, it's no good. You get the right location and the right bait, you need a lot of bait.
Yeah. When they get their heads down, they're going to
exactly
hoover up a lot of maggots, aren't they? Yeah.
And I was explaining to him how they're feeding this amount, and they're big fish. A big fish won't entertain just 4 or 5 maggots when they're hungry. In the winter, it's a different ball game. You literally have to put it in their mouths for them to feed.
Yeah.
But on that particular lake, they're big potting bait, big volumes. The fish are coming in 2s and 3s, and they're clearing it up in seconds. And if you don't feed it, the guys next to you will. But even though you're feeding a lot of bait, it isn't easy. You have to get where you're fishing, rigs, resting lines and stuff like that. I mean, you see these weights and they're pretty special weights, but these anglers know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're shit
working.
hot.
Yeah, they're working hard for it, aren't they?
And on a Sunday you might have a club match on there, and the weights are probably half what they are on a Saturday. And a lot of the time they say, "Oh, well, it's because the open match lads have fed them all up the day before." Well, that sort of frustrates me really, because I know it's a load of rubbish. Whenever we have a festival or 2 days, the following day, the second day always fishes better than the first day.
Yeah, they got used to the bait going in.
Yeah, always. And the third day is sort of make or breaker, really.
Yeah.
So I try and explain that to them, and again, some of them take it on board, and others just like, yeah, whatever, mate. You just make an excuse.
Doesn't matter. It's fishing though, and it's good that some people do and some people don't. Because if everyone did, then
well, that's it. I mean, everyone has their own styles, don't they? And like, some anglers are really aggressive in their feeding, and some anglers literally feed nothing. They can win a match on a pint of maggots, and the guy next to him has caught similar weight and fed a gallon. So there's right ways and wrong ways of doing it.
That's right, and it's just people are going to do what they want to do, and that's part of the joy in it, isn't it? And just everyone gets on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've done really well. I mean, you've had a really busy few months, and the next few weeks, I think, will dictate what's going to happen next. But I think you've seen a massive upsurge in the new faces.
Yeah, it's been good.
It has been good. Right, so I'll just give you... I've had an interesting week, something a bit different this week. Monday, my very expensive fish finder decided to die. And that's why I'm sulking, because I'm trying to dry it out now. We've got it in the kitchen, and it is just not playing ball, so I won't bore people with that. But Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to name some venues here. I drove to Chew Valley Reservoir.
You're allowed to do that,
Yeah. And people can hear phones going off in the background. Our phones, for the last 5 minutes, have gone mental. I've had someone phone me about the Fend and Guardian scheme, and now I've got a phone call from Sweden. So we'll ignore these. But I went to Chew Valley. I booked a couple of days, months ago. Wasn't going to go. Then I thought, you know what, I'll go. So I had 2 lovely days on this very famous reservoir, and I caught 2 little jacks. But it doesn't matter. I had a great time.
At least in blank, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't even that. I went to an area that used to be really good, and it was that good that no one else was anywhere near me. The
Right.
the locals knew where the bait fish were, and I could see where they were. There was a few fish coming out, and I thought, but I should have the second day nipped in. I couldn't be bothered with all the hassle. I
You
just
just
kept...
thought you'd be clever, didn't you?
No, I was really.
Or you're just really unsociable.
I am really unsociable.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying just chilling out. It was a lovely couple of days, but hey ho, you got to do these things. And yesterday I had a really nice day. I went fishing with a fishing coach.
Right.
Yeah, a young lad called Oliver Jenkinson. He works for A4S, which is a angling coaching company that work with, I think, behaviourally challenged school children.
Right.
And he's an angling coach. And we had a lovely day. We went lure fishing on Rutland.
Right.
Caught absolutely nothing. I think I had little pike, and it was so difficult. But it was really nice. Just fish. I don't normally fish with anybody else.
Well, it's funny, every time you go fishing with people, you never catch anything. So
I don't catch anything when I go myself.
Yeah.
No. But it was really nice going with him. Probably thinking trying to get him on the podcast to explain what he does as a job.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting. And it was just nice, just chatting with somebody and doing something a bit different. So we had a lovely day doing that. And sometimes it's not about catching as well, isn't it? It's just about having a chat about things and trying things out. The Xander weren't playing ball at all. That's what we tried to do for half the day, and it was just so difficult. But that was really good fun. And today, I'm going to get this chap's surname wrong, and I promise I will get it right in the future. I've been in touch with the guy who runs the Polish Anglers Association.
Right.
Polish Anglers Association are a really good club, and they're very progressive. So we're going to have him on the podcast soon. And his name is Adrian. I'm going to say his surname completely wrong. It's Grisendler.
Right.
And I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. But we had a lovely long chat today, and he was telling me bits and bobs about what the club do. So we'll get him on over the next few weeks, and he can explain about all the behind-the-scenes work that club have done over the last few years. So I had quite a good week, actually. I've done lots of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And I've met a few different people that I didn't really know very well at all. And even though I've not caught much, if anything at all, and broken my fish finder, I've had a really nice week. So going back to what you were saying about anglers and things, sometimes it is just about being there and just having a go.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So that's that one. Got people are talking to us about the Fenland Guardian scheme, so we've got things going on behind the scenes, but I don't want to say too much at the minute because obviously it won't be found those angling clubs, but a few announcements to make soon. And I noticed, looking through the internet, Angling Trust have started a campaign of Anglers Against Pollution.
Right.
Do you remember me mentioning this first episode, that there was our waters are the dirtiest they've been ever since they started?
Oh yeah, I see something. The Angling Times posted something about that.
Yeah, our
UK's dirtiest in Europe or something like that.
Yeah, we've got so much sewerage, pollution, rubbish, plastic.
Really?
Well, we're a small island that's heavily overpopulated,
Yeah.
and our waterways are getting absolutely trashed. And there's lots of things that, if you read the Angling Trust campaign section, it explains it in detail about what's happening. But our waterways are disgusting. There's a lot of, like I said, stuff going into them. They're not well monitored by the Environment Agency as well. That's another problem that comes out of these findings. So we've got major problems. So there's that going on. If you go on to the Angling Trust website, there is a campaign. If you go on the campaigns, you'll find the page, and there's a petition. And they're trying to get people to sign up for it to get weight of numbers. We'll see, but that's not great, is it?
No.
No.
No. I don't know really. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because when you look at the rivers now, you would say they've never been cleaner. It's they gin clear and there's more weed than ever. There's more diversity of species, whereas venues used to be dominated by one species pretty much. Now you only have to look at the Nene at Peterborough, for example, how many barbel and chub are making an appearance in the upper Nene, whereas it was known really as a roach and bream river for many years, wasn't it? And so I don't know. I suppose there's two ways to look at it, really, isn't there, for that?
Well, I always think that we only see what's on our doorstep,
Yeah,
and we won't know about other issues.
yeah,
So this is a national thing. I mean, the drains have always been stinky, haven't
yeah,
they?
well, yeah,
Mate, at the front here, when I drag a swim out, the amount of plastic I pull out every time is incredible.
yeah,
Dog bags from the park
yeah.
get blown in, rubbish bags I pulled out, frisbees, dinner plate, plastic forks, footballs.
I remember we raked last year at March, and I pulled out a mop, pair of shorts, bags that had been in there that long. You know, they'd changed colour.
I pulled out this really thick cable that's copper based,
Right.
about 20 foot length of it.
Yeah.
Where did someone's just chucked it in?
Yeah.
It's something like, it's really proper industrial cable. We're thinking,
Yeah.
where has that come from? But it must be littered, and yeah, I suppose that's our example, isn't it? But yeah, so that's going on. It's the Angling Trust, Anglers Against Pollution. So if people are interested, have a look at that one. Right, I think we ought to get straight into the match results.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about your Winter League yet. Should we hold that till the end?
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Cool. What results have you got for us?
So I've got the TID results. Not much better than last week, really. But on a positive note, Mr. Simo won the match off the Golden Peg with £4.9.5, which was consisting of 8 inch. So again, tough times at TID until the fish move and know where, and find where they are. Second was Martin Thomas with 2 perch for 2.4, so that went too bad. And third was MPEG Concrete Kilby with 2.5 ounces.
Isn't that big fish, Kilby?
Well, sometimes when he catches a big fish,
He's caught 2 roach.
Well, yeah, or a perch or something.
Big fish, Kilby.
Yeah, so he's gone from catching 40 odd pound of roach and rudd last Sunday to catching 2 ounce this week.
I've got a lot of sympathy for TID at the minute.
Yeah.
These guys keep trying. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
they keep trying.
The fish have obviously gone, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I know where they've gone. Down the Nene, out to sea, and these cormorants' bellies.
No.
They went last season. Yep, they did.
No, don't believe
You
it.
don't believe? Well,
So where have all the bream and all the big fish? Because they ain't gone in the cormorant.
no, the
belly.
cormorants can't eat those or the tench.
No.
Last year, it got run down so low, everything got pushed into that bottom section.
Nah.
And the cormorants wiped out a lot of those silverfish. The big fish they couldn't eat, but the big fish got pushed in there. I would imagine now these fish are all over the place, the bigger ones, because those tench aren't showing up any numbers, are they?
It's time of year. It's TID. Every year's the same at TID. The fish just disappear, and then come November, and they appear again.
I really hope I'm wrong.
It's like this on the fishery. As soon as it gets cold and we have a frost, everyone reckons I take them all out and put them in my bedroom for winter.
But
honestly,
it's been mild still.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether it's been mild or not. As soon as them daylight hours change, mate, they're moving.
You're exactly right. How come every other club are having really consistent results still?
Because a lot of these clubs don't start till now. Look at Ramsey. They all through the summer they have a match on a drain every other week, just so there's a match on a drain. Soon as sort of October comes, where St Mary's starts to fish, the weed starts dying down. You know, you only have to look at the results this week from 2 weeks ago, and it tells you it all, really. You know, well, we'll come to that one in a minute.
But okay, so these guys, they're going to have another go next week, which is brilliant because they're desperate to find the fish, and you know they got. I think hats off to them because I've been back in the day when I was match fishing. It was awful. The drains were awful, and it was just purgatory. And when it gets like this, it's hard work. But they're doing really, really well just to try different things and keep an open mind. But I keep saying to you, there was a lot of cormorants on there, and it got obliterated.
Yeah, but every drain in look at the 20 foot. That gets obliterated by cormorants.
Not like the numbers that I kept seeing when I drove over it. It was
Oh.
horrendous.
Anywhere where there's fish, there's going to be cormorants.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
But they took. I just think a lot of, like I said, those fish got pushed into that bottom section with the low water level,
Yeah.
killing fields for the cormorants.
Definitely cormorants are a massive reason why. But they haven't eaten all them fish.
Here's an offer.
Right.
I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
If Tid can have a word with North Level Commissioners,
Yeah.
if we can get a little boat on there, I will take my side imaging unit and I will find them.
Well, you don't need a sign imaging unit to find them.
Or you take your pet cormorant.
Well, you don't. Or probably 4 or 5 years ago, the Tid Club, I can remember fishing. It was main road until end of September. I remember I had a big weight of bream in one of the Wednesday matches. And then this time of year, we always used to have 1 or 2 rounds on Tid. And the fishing was okay, but it was patchy. You was always on a knife edge whether there was going to be fish there or not. But, you know, they used to do a bit of homework before and they'd go in the week and find out where these fish were. I mean, you're not just talking a few fish. These fish show themselves. So, I mean, I'm sure someone from Tid's been along Harold's or Clough or somewhere like that. I mean, I know there was a fish killer at Clough, but that was 2 years ago now, and the fish have got to go through there at some point, haven't they? They always went upstream towards
They always
the
went
naps.
upstream.
Always went upstream.
I had a look at Cloud today.
Right.
I was going to Holbeach Drove.
Yeah.
Looks awful. Cotweed.
Right.
Just looks like I
Yeah.
don't know. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It needs a good old flush out, doesn't it?
Well, normally they start dredging and doing all that. So as soon as they start dredging, that's normally when Cloud becomes good. The fish move up there.
We shall see, because they're going to keep persevering, which is great. Yeah.
I'm not worried about Tid. Them fish will appear somewhere.
We ought to have a wager. We'll think of something.
I can't see how a venue can have fish in it and then they just disappear like that.
Look, they got eaten.
No,
It's straightforward.
not all of them have been eaten.
Right.
Impossible.
What else have we got?
Right, well, Ramsey AC. So Wednesday's
I bet they caught
sweepstake.
something.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did this week at St Mary's, but last time they went to St Mary's, £5 won it. This week, last place was £14.
Wow.
Well, it says it all, really, doesn't it?
No, there's a difference between like £4 winning it of silvers,
Yeah.
because the fish are still coming through.
Yeah.
When the winning weight is one fish, and the second weight
Yeah,
is
but
two.
what I'm saying
that's
is
what I'm saying.
the fish have gone from Tid and moved to somewhere else, and the fish weren't at St Mary's and now are there.
But there was still some fish about from the fish all beforehand.
Yeah.
We shall see. Time will tell.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm not going to say "told you so."
Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. So, obviously St Mary's, when the fish migrate in there, it's brilliant fishing. It's comfortable, park behind your peg, rock up. You can fish loads of different methods, and you can make things work. You know, it's probably one of the only venues locally where you can fish casters and just take casters and emp and worms. You know, if you're a bit of a wormhead and you like catching perch and tench and little skimmers and stuff, you can make that work. If you like fishing emp, you can make that work. It's a venue that the Ramsey Club sort of keep to themselves, and you know, fair enough. It's one to treasure. It's comfortable and it's ideal for club matches, and they have a nice club really. Ramsey, they're friendly. They have a midweek Wednesday match and a Sunday match, and they're anyone that's looking to get into fishing natural venues, like Tid as well. They're well run, friendly, without sort of going into the open match sort of cutthroat, you know, superstar almost style of match fishing. It's good, you know. I mean, they catch fish every week. So anyway, so Ivan Stills did the double this week, so he won both Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday's match at St Mary's, he drew peg 2, I think he was on. He had £24 dead, a few rudd, roach, caught on a bit of everything, caught on the waggler. Runner-up was John Locke from the M peg nearest the wires, with 17.15. He's caught on bits of worms, perch and rudd and all sorts. And third was Keith Raymond. Keith, don't show us your teeth, made an appearance. He's the new John Taylor. He had 430 fish for 17.10. So
Are they brothers?
they must be. Yeah, it must be. So I keep telling Keith, I said, are you sure you're not related to John Taylor? I'm not, no. But yeah, anyway, he fishes his top kit and just gets his head down and catches
Smashes
as many
them.
as he can.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for that, isn't there, in matches?
Yeah. So he had 17.10, and then Sunday they were at Factory Bank, which is too early for Factory Bank, I think. Hopefully it fishes this year, because it did last year up until Christmas. Then after that, the fish just vanished and went where they always go, in peg 1. And by the looks of it, they're in peg 1 again.
They're there already.
So Ivan has drawn peg 1 and he's had 14.14. Dave Norville was on 2, was at 8.12. Ray Myron was on 3, was £6.5. Fourth was peg 4. Fifth was pretty much all the way down until the very end. I think one of them, someone caught a tench that sort of broke the mould, if you know what I mean. So it's still too early for Factory Bank. It's too early, but yeah. So that was the Ramsey matches. I think Wednesday they'll be at St Mary's again, and it wouldn't surprise me if Sunday they're at St Mary's as well.
Well, it may as well, because that sounds like it's...
Yeah,
That's fantastic fishing, isn't it?
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, at least if you're not in the hot pegs, you're still going to catch a lot of fish, which is great.
Yeah, you're gonna have a day's fishing.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I fished a few of their Wednesday matches at the back end of the season, and
Weren't they the OEP matches?
they're open matches. Anyone can fish. And even though
You were desperate.
I was the youngest one there by about 30 years.
45 years.
But yeah, it's they're just good venue, really. I think I fished 2 matches. I fished 2. I think I fished 2. I had £19 the first match, roach on casters, and then the second match I think I had 30 odd pound, 34 pound.
That's brilliant fishing.
On the waggler, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Proper fishing,
Yeah.
rod and reel.
It was nice fishing. Waggler and big red maggot, yeah.
Yeah,
It
red
was
maggot.
nice.
Yeah, proper. Like,
But that's the sort of 4 pegs next to the bridge opposite these willow trees, and it's like every rudd in the fens live there. It's absolutely heaving with them. So, yeah.
cool.
And then the last one in the club side of things is the Whittlesey Club match. They had 20 there on a Saturday, and again, another friendly club. It's not all about the winning the money.
It's a good turnout, isn't it?
It is, yeah. People just want to fish in match conditions and enjoy the social side of things. It ain't all about the money.
And they've organised this really well to make it fairer, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the fishery we do what we call a continental payout when we use 2 lakes. So if the winner's on, say, Magpie, second place in the whole match will come from Jay, and then back to Magpie, then Jay. And they've done something similar with different areas of the Whittlesey Dyke. So the disabled pegs was one sort of section, and then to the left of the railway bridge up to what they call Queensway was another section. So it keeps everyone interested, even if you're fishing for £2 or £20. You know, a bit like the 20 foot, you can have 6 pegs near the bridge dominating. The further that you are away, what's the point almost? So, so match organiser Jeff Tuttleby was the winner. £14.7 from peg 1 nearest the lock. So it's nice days fishing, comfortable as well. Some lovely platforms there. Second was 118 John Taylor.
Is that Keith Raymond's brother?
Yeah, £12.15.
How many fish did he have?
Oh, I don't know. Probably about 2,000 for that. Yeah.
So I hope these blokes don't mind us taking them.
Nah, it's all friendly banter, innit? Everyone knows. It's just, you know, I'm sure John loves it, really. So yeah, 118 was second with 12.15, and then Brian Best had £9.7 from that half, and then I think Andy Lawrence won the other half from the first peg next to the railway bridge with about £4.5. I think Dan Abbott was second with £2.5, and then it went down to like £1.50, 111.8. Your proper winter league weights, really. So that was their match. I'm not sure where they are this week. I would probably say they might be on Cop Bank or something like that.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah, I read their match report.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I think they said this time last year they had some really nice weights.
They did, yeah. Some fantastic fishing. Again, it's one of them. I think the fish are on the move. They're moving through, and if you hit it right, you can have a wonderful day. And if you hit it wrong, it's like tid at the minute. And I think that's just the drain summed up in a nutshell.
I don't want to repeat myself.
Right,
I'm not going to. You're not going to drag me into this debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I not teach you anything?
No.
No. Bit of rugby.
Yeah. No good at that either, was it? So.
Right. And all right. Back to all seriousness then. So there's some really nice matches going on, and I'm not having a go at Tid at all because they're a lovely club. But we've got those three clubs you mentioned. We're really well run, aren't they? And there's a smashing bunch of blokes to take it. It's just that, sadly, North Level at the minute is a real strange patch, and we will find out over the next few months what has happened. And the only way we'll find out is by the guys keep persevering and trying different sections and seeing where the fish come out.
Mm-hmm.
So time will tell. Right, I think we need to get on to, before we bore everyone completely senseless.
I know, we're rabbling on tonight, aren't we? But we always find something to talk about.
Oh, we talk absolute nonsense.
Yeah, but it's proper tales from the tackle shop, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
people come in for a chat, and you just talk about any old rubbish, don't you? Really, but
yeah, we're good at talking rubbish.
Yeah.
No, you're right. We just rambled on about inane nonsense, and we'll go on to the last bit of nonsense, which was the round 2 of the Winter League.
Yeah. So we've managed to get 2 rounds in. How many more we'll get in, I don't know.
What's the rumour mill going like?
In what? Whether we're going to get it done or not? I don't know. Everyone's carrying on as if we're going to get 6 rounds in. Everyone's doing their best for the social distance side of things. A little bit frustrating. You can come in the tackle shop and talk to someone with a face mask on and be a metre away from them, but you can't go on a riverbank and follow the scales and that side of things. It's just a bit frustrating, really.
Yeah, but it's better to have the matches than not. I think
it is the hardest thing has been sort of the draw side of things. And getting people to turn up and at the right time, and so far everyone's been doing a good job from what I can see.
Well, I think everyone's done a really good job, and I think everyone's been very flexible. And if you can, I think we might have a lockdown at the school half term by the sounds of things.
Right.
Well, they might keep it regional. I don't know, but our infection rate around here is really quite low compared to the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So if they keep it regional, then surely they'll have to keep the fishing regional. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So you had obviously last week was the practice match, which was just an open.
Yeah. And so last Sunday was the practice match, and this Sunday is the nitty-gritty team event. Give
us a summary of what happened then. Team captain, how did your draw go?
I wouldn't say we drew bad. I wouldn't say we drew brilliantly. I mean, we had A1, which is a standout peg.
Did Ray Malley pull the pegs?
He did this week, funnily enough, yeah. I pulled the pegs out first week, and I soon got sacked, yeah. So it sums my life up, really. And
oh, bless you.
It's fished reasonable, similar to how it fished the week before. Obviously, it's a team match, so you get less anglers fishing for big fish, but like I was explaining earlier, a quick 5-minute look here and there, or an end peg, or noted peg somewhere that holds bigger fish. So yeah, team wise, we had a pretty solid team performance, pretty consistent. You know, we felt that tactically we got it fairly all right, and everyone did as best they could. A few of the lads were unlucky with not catching a big fish in their section, and some caught big fish. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. And like I was explaining to a few of the lads, if you haven't got a tench or a bream or a £3 eel or a big bonus like that, then you have to be the best of the rest, and that's all you can do. And that's why having an extra team in it this year has a fourth isn't as bad as what it was. You know, it's you beat the people in your area and it counts at the end. So,
yeah.
But team-wise, Image put a mega display in again. They got the bit between the teeth at the minute and they're on a roll. They won it with 29 points. DAIWA Tackle Bates second with 34. So it's a result we needed really after the first round little blip. Third was Browning Hot Rods with 39. Fourth was Stanjay on 42, but on count back, Mark 1 also had 42, but they come fifth due to section wins. I think both had 2 section wins, but Stans had 1 more section second than Mark 1 White, so that was close. Peterborough newcomers to the league in 6th, 7th Mark 1 Black, and then 8th Stanjay Silver. So close again. Teams overall, Image have got 3 now.
So they were second last week and first this week.
And then so they're on 3, so they're sort of way out in front at the minute.
Yeah.
Anything can happen with 4 rounds to go.
Yeah.
And second is Stanjay's on 5, and then DAIWA Tackle Bates and Hot Dogs, Hot Rods.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
Is that what you call them?
Brown and Hot Dogs, yeah. Are on 6, so it's all to play for. All to play for.
And the top 2 go into... so what's happening nationally?
Well, we don't know.
You don't know?
I can't see there being a gathering of people from all over the country.
No.
But we're not worried about that. We're just trying to win the East Midlands Winter League on however many rounds.
You need to get a win in next, don't you?
Really? We do, mate. Yeah, we need to win every round. That's what we go in there to do, but it don't work out like that.
Difficult. So where's the next set of
So
matches?
The next 2 weeks are at March. So be interesting to see what that's like. I've seen it. It's extremely weedy. There's a rule this year that we're not allowed to rake it unless there's a captain's vote. So I don't know how that's going to stand. Personally, if it's not allowed for the match, then what's the point of allowing it for the practice match? So
it's got to be the same.
I think so. It has to be. So I think there should be a sort of captain's meeting this week and get it sorted. But
can I just say something? I think they should let you guys rake it.
Yeah.
Because these fish will respond to that.
Yeah.
I know it have.
Yeah.
We've done it at the front here.
Yeah.
And I was amazed within minutes.
How many fish come?
Yeah. And you can't present a rig on that horrible weed unless you get rid of it.
It's horrendous,
yeah.
But they are. That's for the captains to decide.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're out here for the next 2 weeks.
So really, you need me to go up and down in my boat, don't you?
Yeah, that'd
just
be nice,
annoy
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, just wake all the boaters up. Just say, oh, come on. Get a Saturday and
sink a few nets.
Yeah. Do a few donuts. Yeah. But it's amazing how the river changes every year.
This river has been changing every week.
Not just the actual river itself, but people that have bought gardens backing onto the river, and there's more different boats in areas. There's new decking, and it changes every year. It's mental. It's like behind the swimming pool, mega fishing, but there's only 3 pegs there now because the concrete's always taken up by people in boats, so you're never going to peg that. There's decking now on the far bank and all boats moored up, so it wasn't very wide anyway, so now it's like 7 metres to the far bank.
However, I think there's going to be a loads of skimmers and rud come out of there.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be in. Just for the simple fact there's going to be more pegs at the bypass.
Fish there.
There's a lot of fish at the bypass this time of year.
Yeah.
Different as well. You know, it's I like the bypass personally, and when it fishes. It's phenomenal fishing up there. It really is good.
I think there's going to be some. I reckon there'll be some at £40 weights come out.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. The rud are bigger.
Yeah.
They've got bigger, like classes. That they've got. You can see they've got bigger, and they are like piranhas at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think 1 or 2 anglers are just going to land on a massive herd of these roving piranhas. Yeah, they're not shoals. They're too big. They're herds of them, And some of these rudd are like Frisians. They're incredible. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out. And like I said, I hope they allow you to rake, because it will improve the fishing.
Yeah, it is what it is. If you're allowed it, you're allowed it. If you're not, you're not. You just.
Do you have a time frame in which to do it?
Yeah, normally like an hour before the match is the latest you can rake.
Perfect.
Obviously, there's quite a lot of boats going through, and it's that time of year where the leaves are falling in, the weeds dying off, so every boat that goes through just churns it up anyway, and a weed rake's going to only sort of help it for the future matches anyway. So
if any anglers think these rakes put the fish off, the number of dogs that jump in that river, dog walkers, the fish are used to all the disturbance.
Yeah.
They're not spooked by it. I was the complete opposite until I started doing a bit of raking out here, and I used to get irate when I used to get some big rudd going and a dog would jump in 300 yards away. It doesn't affect them at all. And you think it would, but I think they get so used to the human traffic. The only thing I did notice was the real big bream that used to pop down end of the close season. As soon as people start walking along the park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's big fish. That's completely different. Whereas these herds
we
of
don't
rudd.
want bream. We want to catch bream. We want roach.
There's roach in there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just there needs to be more and more and more of them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking couple of matches on there.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting. Hope I'm right. I think so. I had a chat with Cheesy Bob. I saw him at his market stall, and he's a bit worried about the weed growth.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really good. Right.
Mad to think why there's so much weed in there this year, though. The only thing I could put it down to is because of lockdown, there was less boats moving about, and there's obviously it's a lot clearer than I've seen it. It's unbelievably clear, but I think maybe because there's not been as much movement, the boats haven't been up and down, making that boat channel a bit cleaner, and I don't know really.
I think it gets a lot of human waste going into it.
Right.
Nutrients. I think that helps the weed grow from.
Yeah, possibly.
I really do. I think there's a lot of how can I put it politically correctly? A lot of boat users don't care where they dump their human effluents. I have had to report a couple of boats.
Right.
It's just horrendous. And of course it attracts the weed. The weed grows from the nutrients and stuff. That river's there's a lot of food for the fish, let me put it like this. Not necessarily maggots and bread. But I think that's had an effect. But we've had an incredibly bright, sunny spring, haven't we? And May was incredibly warm, and that would have really encouraged the weed growth as well. So I think there's been lots of factors that will have helped.
But it's mad really, because we fished Benwick, and normally Benwick is absolutely choked with weed, and this year it was all right. It was nice.
Yeah, strange.
It weren't an issue, the weed. It wasn't like just getting weed all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a different type of weed in March.
Yeah.
It's more in Benwick. It's cot and that, stuff just lays around, and it like jellies about, doesn't it? Whereas March, it's cabbages, eelgrass, proper river weed, isn't it?
Yeah. You get a lot of the lily pads and that that stalky grass that grows up from the bottom. It's really weird stuff. And then you don't get much Canadian. This is what I've noticed. There's some spots that have a lot of Canadian pondweed in the silt.
Yeah.
And they're actually, when you rake that bit out, that's where the bream move in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shall tell you off air because I don't want to give any away our top secrets.
Secret.
Right, buddy, I think we have managed to somehow ramble on for over an hour. So anybody that hasn't fallen asleep and still listening, well done.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is there is so much to talk about because there's always something going on in fishing nationally and locally. There's always things happening because this is the time of year that the drains certainly start to change, and it's really interesting just having a chat about it. And like Alex said earlier, we're just having a chat like we were stood in his tackle shop about what's happening with the fishing. Alex, is there anything else you'd like to add this week?
Nope.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you for popping over. It's been a pleasure to see you again. And to everyone listening, thanks for listening. This has been Tales from the Tackle Shop, a Fenland Fishing TV production.